we're starting off with SmackDown as Roman Reigns was on the broadcast to continue his feud with Jey Uso ahead of their tribal combat at SummerSlam next week. With Jey in competition in the main event against Grayson Waller, Reigns sat at ringside to watch his cousin in action, but there was a rarely seen botch from the head of the table. Post-match, Jey Uso was attacked by Solo Sikoa, but was able to fend off the assault, and when Reigns got in the ring himself, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion fell over. This nearly messed up the following spot, but thankfully Reigns was able to get up in time to take a spear from Jey, which earned arguably the loudest pop of the night from the crowd at SmackDown. It's rare for Reigns to make a mistake on TV, and it's good that he was able to recover quickly from this error. And did you notice this botch during this week's penultimate SmackDown before SummerSlam? In a matter of days, Gable Steveson will make his long-awaited in-ring debut when he faces Baron Corbin at NXT Great American Bash. But he's not the only Olympian under contract. Earlier this year, Tamyra Mensah-Stock, who also won gold in 2021, signed a deal with WWE, becoming the first female Olympic gold medalist to sign with any wrestling promotion. In the Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer gave an update on Mensah-Stock, revealing that she has been doing great in training and has taken to the professional wrestling style extremely well. Mensah-Stock is taking to WWE like a fish to water, in stark contrast to Steveson, whose progression in training was said to have been much slower than WWE had initially hoped. While Mensah-Stock has been impressing people, there's no word on when exactly she'll be used for TV, but WWE will no doubt feature her prominently when she is used. Unlike Steveson, who continues to tease a second go in the Olympics, Mensah-Stock has said that her days of amateur competition are done, and going by these reports, she can expect a very successful journey in WWE. Now, it's no secret that WWE has their eyes on several stars in AEW, even if the ongoing MLW lawsuit has left WWE hesitant to make a move at this time. We also know that WWE has had their eye on signing the Elite in what would be a devastating blow to AEW, but it appears that Tony Khan's EVPs will be sticking around for the long term. The Observer reports that the prevailing belief is that the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and Adam Page, are staying in AEW, especially after a recent promo by Omega himself. That promo, which was to the live crowd at a show in Boston, saw Omega speak about his love for AEW, the work he and the Elite have put in, and spoke of wanting to be with AEW for years to come. The Observer added that the segment, which took place after Blood and Guts, would have been aired if the match hadn't gone overtime and marked the official end of the Elite's feud with the Blackpool Combat Club. A few months ago, WWE execs were confident they'd at least sign Omega, if not the entire Elite in 2024, but that's no longer the case, and do you think this is the right call? Sound off in the comments. Despite what WWE higher-ups may have hoped, the Elite won't be jumping ship, and another name WWE has had their eye on is also off the table. For some time, WWE had interest in signing Rush, especially given that his brother Dragon Lee is doing well in NXT, but those hopes died when Rush confirmed he's re-signed with AEW. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's reported that WWE were well aware that they'd have to pay a large sum to win Rush over, possibly the second biggest NXT deal behind Gable Steveson. However, WWE never made an official offer to Rush once they found out how much AEW's offer for a new deal was, with some in WWE calling the AEW offer insane money. We don't know how much AEW paid to keep Rush around, but we do know that he has signed a multi-year deal with Tony Khan after previously signing a one-year deal with the company. Rush's one-year deal was done so he could prove himself and see how he felt about the company, and clearly enjoys being in AEW, which has come as bad news to WWE. The Elite has been part of some of the biggest matches ever for AEW, matches fans would love to have on a streaming service one day, and those plans could finally be in motion. This week, it was revealed that the company has filed a trademark for AEW Plus, specifically for the use of streaming content, which will come as good news for fans eager for AEW's own streaming service. While AEW already has a broadcasting agreement with FITE, many fans have pined for some time to have AEW to have its own answer to the WWE network, and it appears that could very soon be a reality. More from SmackDown now, as it was earlier this month that Bobby Lashley returned to TV and wasted no time in teasing some kind of alliance with the Street Profits. On this week's show, the trio were in a segment again, and there were a lot of teases that Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford will be working closely with Lashley in the coming weeks. For one, the Profits were seen drinking expensive beverages from fancy glasses, a far cry from their usual red Solo cups, though eagle-eyed fans will have spotted one of the cups in the segment. The three men were in a very lavish setting in another break from tradition for the Profits, and Lashley spoke about the importance of dressing the part, and Big Money Bob, as he was called, presented the Profits with some fancy outfits. Lashley would also mention Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams in the segment, as the reigning NXT champion and his associate were on last week's SmackDown, and was also teased as part of a new faction by the Almighty. WWE had kept Lashley off TV, hoping the feud with Bray Wyatt would be able to happen, but with Bray still not cleared, it'll be interesting to see what comes next for the Almighty and his budding faction. We mentioned that Lashley was called Big Money Bob in the segment, and he's not the only superstar who has received a new nickname in recent weeks. On Raw, we now have Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Big Bronson Reed, and there's a reason behind all of this alliteration. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was revealed that Vince McMahon himself is the one behind these nicknames, though these of course came prior to his recent hiatus due to spinal surgery. While these nicknames have been mostly on Raw, we recently had Scintillating Santos Escobar, implying that more SmackDown superstars could be receiving unique nicknames. Since returning to WWE, McMahon hasn't been afraid to flex his influence over creative, who have gone as far as to try and Vince-proof plans by announcing matches and segments as early as they can. A good nickname can help him make a character, just ask Stone Cold Steve Austin, but are you ready for the likes of Battling Butch, Risk-Taking Ricochet, or Adequate Austin Theory? Sound off in the comments. When it comes to celebrities in wrestling, Stephen Amell is definitely one of the more popular stars to step into the ring, having had 3 professional matches in his career. Despite only having a few matches, the Green Arrow actor has competed for WWE, Ring of Honor, and worked the 2018 All-In Super Show, and could a WWE Hall of Fame induction be in order? Speaking recently to WrestleRant, Amell spoke about his in-ring character and said that Cody Rhodes himself believes a Hall of Fame induction is in order. He said, "I'd love to have a WrestleMania match. Cody says this all the time. I'm one good match away from the Hall of Fame. One good match. Now I have a different standard than everyone else. If I was an actual professional wrestler and just sort of an interloping quote-unquote celebrity appearance every once in a while, I'd have much work to do. But I feel like for that wing of the WWE Hall of Fame, I'm like one good match away." Amell has certainly done more wrestling than almost everyone who's in the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame, which includes the likes of Pete Rose, Drew Carey, and Kid Rock. Amell, who is starring in Season 2 of Heels, recently said that he's feeling the itch to step back into the ring, and perhaps this match will be the one that earns the Canadian a WWE Hall of Fame ring. And we're ending with All In, which will be AEW's debut event in the UK and their biggest show ever, which is why it's a shame that one local star will likely miss the show. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Jamie Hayter isn't expected to be back in time for All In, which has been the goal throughout her recovery. It remains unclear as to what exactly is keeping Hayter from action, just that she can't compete now, and we only hope the British wrestler is able to recover in time for this monumental event.